Welcome to the Encore Effect, the podcast where music takes center stage in life's second act. Brought to you by Encore Creativity, America's largest choral organization for adults 55 and older. This inspiring series celebrates the transformative power of music, community, and creativity in the later years of life. Each episode will share moving personal stories from encore singers across the country and dive into fascinating conversations with experts in neuroscience, gerontology, and the arts. Discover how choral singing is boosting brain health, improving well-being, and lighting up the lives of thousands of older adults nationwide. From retirees finding their voice for the first time, to the science behind why doctors are prescribing music for the mind, the Encore Effect proves that creativity is endless. Join us and let the music move you.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Encore Effect. We are so glad you have joined us, and I am so excited about our guest today. My name is Joshua, Encore CEO, and your host of this podcast. Today, we get to talk to Joey Clark. Joey Clark is a musical theater and cabaret performer, choral conductor, stage director, and teaching artist. His work has been seen on the stages of McCarter Theatre, Syracuse Stage, and many stages throughout Minnesota's Twin Cities. Joey's cabaret work began at New York City's Duplex Cabaret Bar, and he has since gone on to direct, musical direct, and perform in over 100 cabarets. He is a leader in the field of art making, specifically with older adult populations, and is a conductor for the Giving Voice Chorus for those who live with Alzheimer's and their care partners. With 25 years of teaching experience, Joey has taught and directed students ages 3 to 106, serving as musical theater department chair for Saint Paul Conservatory Performing Arts and an instructor at MacPhail Center for Music, Children's Theater Company, History Theater, the 92nd Street Y, and Mayo Performing Arts Center. He is thrilled to be back on the East Coast and making a home in Washington, D.C., teaching at Levine Music and conducting at Encore Creativity for older adults. Welcome, Joey. We're so glad you're here to chat with us.
Thank you, Joshua. I'm so happy to be here.
And no one is more thrilled about you being on the East Coast and being at Encore Creativity for older adults than me.
I think my parents would beg to differ with you.
Fair enough. You know, Joey, it's literally, there isn't a day that goes by that I don't hear, or somebody on our Encore Central team doesn't hear about how much they love working with you. They love learning from you. They love singing from you. Joey Clark is so fun. We hear it all the time.
Oh, that's so sweet. I feel very loved at Encore.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you're famous for your warm-ups. That I feel like, you got all these great attributes that you bring to rehearsal, but people love your warm-ups. Tell our listeners, what is it like to warm up with Joey in a choir rehearsal?
That's so funny because that's what people used to say about me in Minnesota, where I came from. The warm-ups is what brought me into the room. I really believe that music making is a full body experience. And so we warm up our entire bodies, which really gets your breath going and releases your tension and allows your spirit to kind of just be free, And then from that, we add sound. So there's a lot of jiggling of body parts while making sound.
And barking like a dog. I've heard that piece.
Yes, we make music comes in all shapes and sizes, and it's not all about making the prettiest sound ever, especially not in the world of rock or musical theater. You make lots of interesting sounds, So it's the sounds of life, and the sounds of angst and all different emotions. So I enjoy getting people to move physically. It just frees up the sound and allows us to have more fun with the creation.
And when I've seen you lead warm-ups and get people ready to sing, they're doing as you said, all sorts of body movements and silly sounds. And everyone in the room is doing it. Nobody, it's like everyone's uninhibited and all of a sudden they're just all having a blast. What do you think makes that happen? I mean, even the shyest of people are out like, doing monkey sounds and things. Like what is happening?
I really credit everything to the music. I have a good background track going when I when I do these warm-ups. But people, I don't know, I think at heart we all just want to play, like it just kind of comes naturally if you just allow yourself. And when you see everyone else around you doing it, people just do it. It's actually interesting when I've worked with people who have dementia, Alzheimer's. Same thing happens that they'll just jump in and do whatever I ask. And I'm kind of always a little bit surprised, to be quite honest, that everyone is just doing what I ask. But I think that I try to make it a joyous experience and people just want to partake when it's joyous.
Yeah, you absolutely do. And we're all kids at heart, right? Like it doesn't matter our age. We all have that, that little kid heart still. And that's what I see when I see the warm-ups. I just kind of see everyone transport back to like having just a little, like a blast in elementary music or, singing and playing on the playground. It's like we just kind of put all those adult things away for a few minutes while we get to have fun in choir rehearsal.
Totally. And to be quite honest, it makes you sound better as a performer to have all of that full body engagement underneath you and that sense of playfulness. It just brings out this whole other level to your performance. And so there are like, positive results other than just having fun too.
Yeah, and we know those positive results from singing in a choir, whether it's physical or cognitive or emotionally, our heart feels better. What are some of those things that you're seeing kind of in real time, Joey, when you're leading a choir rehearsal at Encore, any music rehearsal? What are you seeing in real time happening to those singers that are benefiting them?
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, everyone kind of leaves the room at the end of rehearsal much happier than when they walked in. That's for sure. And there's also a buzz in the air. There's like an energy in the air. It's hard to describe it, I guess, but it comes in. That warm up really ushers it into the room, and it just stays throughout rehearsal. People are kind of working on a high. I also find that I'm excited about adding this Broadway chorus element because it allows me to explore a bigger emotional palette in some of the songs that we're singing. And it allows people to tap in with something deeper, and so we get to talk about like what's happening in these shows when these musical moments are happening. And it's real life stuff. We're doing something from Kimberly Akimbo that's about a girl dying of a disease where she ages faster than her peers. And even though the song is a lighthearted kind of fun song, there's this undercurrent of not knowing how much longer this girl has on this planet. And so it's like real. There's just so much more depth to the material. And a lot of that is stuff that we can all relate to.
Mm. I saw the work that you do with Alzheimer's and dementia and music, which you are a thought leader in that field. And I know that you've done incredible work with Giving Voice, which is an organization we partner with, and super proud of what they're doing. And I know, that music and memory is connected and it's linked. And I saw that kind of bridge being built at the inaugural Broadway concert that you conducted, because you had singers stand up and introduce the songs, not as like, well, here's the composer and here's why they wrote this, but from a like, here's what this means to me personally. Here's how this musical affected me or changed my life or as a core memory. Do you think there, is great power in music and memory? I mean, you teach it, but do you believe it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, gosh, it really taps into long-term memory, which is just so important for us to stay connected to. And often when people have dementia, those are the things that last and that we want to cling on to, those long-term memories. But gosh, when you talk about that Broadway concert, I was shocked. I kind of, not randomly, but I chose these songs for that concert, not knowing the connections that would be made within the chorus. And what, as you know, one person got up and said, "I was proposed to while watching this show."
Still married, and they're still married.
And they're still married. And another person said, "Yeah, my son starred in this show on Broadway." And it was like the connections are just run so deep. But everyone has those connections of, oh, this is the first musical I ever fell in love with. And it just takes us back to a happier time. And it makes the music making more powerful, that it is such a deep connection that we have to this music.
So over 100 cabarets.
Yeah.
Probably way over 100, right?
I've lost count. I mean, it's probably 200 or more. Yeah.
Okay, so what's a cabaret? Tell our listeners what a cabaret means.
It is storytelling with song, and it's personal stories that you tell in kind of an intimate environment with people, or in an intimate way, I should say. And there are songs that are woven in between the stories to kind of illuminate the stories that you're telling from your life.
All right, so I have a hard question for you. It's one of those on the spot questions. So breathe and take the time you need to answer it. But if we were doing, a cabaret on Joey Clark's life, and you could only have like 3 songs that told your story,
oh my gosh,
what would they be?
Oh my gosh.
I just think I can even answer that question. I can't believe I'm asking that.
That's a great question, though.
Or one. What's like a song or two that you think describes your life?
Well, I would have to do something probably from The Sound of Music, because that was the first show I was ever in. And it means a lot to me. And there's something, probably Edelweiss. There's something so simple about that song and yet poignant. And I don't think the lyrics have anything to do with me necessarily, but it's the idea of the song. It was Oscar Hammerstein's last song that he wrote on his deathbed, dying of stomach cancer. And it's just such a poignant, simple, beautiful song. And when I perform it, the audience always knows it and always wants to sing along. And it's the first solo I ever had in a show. And my grandmother passed away 2 weeks before I performed that first role as Captain Von Trapp. And my connection to her still remains so strong. I was 10 years old. And so I feel like that song really encapsulates that first theatrical experience and then that deep connection I have with her.
So we're going to call it Edelweiss, Joey Clark in Lights.
I love it. White lights, little white lights.
I love it. So you are a performer, a conductor, a fabulous pianist, and you're also an educator, and that's part of the mission of Encore is lifelong learning. We never stop learning. And as an educator, what are some things that you bring into a choir space beyond the warm-ups and teaching us that music is physical? What are some other things that you think are really important for us to capture as choir singers from an educational standpoint?
Well, I like to think of choirs as a bunch of soloists who are working together. And so I want to give everyone the opportunity to feel like they are being creative and not being boxed in by the choral experience, and allowing them to really explore their instrument and get to know their instrument better and have more control over their instrument. Which, it feels like as we get older, we're less in control of our bodies. I'm realizing. So it's nice to be able to say, oh, I know what I'm doing and I can actually manipulate it. And I actually have, some agency over this part of my life.
So what do you say to a singer, as an educator that says, or someone who wants to sing, someone who loves to sing, and they say, Joey, I don't know how to read music, and I've never sung in a choir before. And when I was 10, somebody told me I couldn't sing, and they're just like scared to death to be in a choir because of all of those things. How do you help change that narrative?
Well, we give lots of resources at Encore, which are so helpful, giving people rehearsal tracks. Everyone is so friendly and, helpful to each other, certainly. In Sentimental Journey Singers, we set it up intentionally like that we're giving people with dementia a volunteer or a caregiver who is a partner and is able to help guide them and shepherd them through. But for people who haven't read music before, it can be tricky. We have these Just the Basics classes, which are, I think, helpful. People have been telling me that they're helpful at the beginning of the semester. I find music reading to be like reading a map. And so if you aren't a person who's good at reading a map, then yes, music reading is a challenge. It's a very visual thing. And so, yeah, I would encourage you to just find the joy in the moment of the music making and not worry so much about doing the right or wrong thing. And I always tell my singers on the first day, I honestly don't care what you sound like. And everyone's always like shocked, but it's true, because if you are having a good time and if you are just using your imagination and following me as best you can, and going over the rehearsal tracks, then that's all that matters. The sound actually just happens as a result of all of those things.
And there are so many joys of singing in a choir, but I would say that's probably one of them, right? Like there's a whole lot less pressure to do what you think might be as like this excellent performance, because you're one of many and your voice is being added to those collective voices to put on that performance. It's so different than putting on, like, say, a solo cabaret.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you can hide a little bit in a chorus.
Or not, or
I
on your comfort level.
I have to admit that even we co-conduct these concerts sometimes with Encore, and so there have been moments where I've stepped off the podium and stepped into the chorus and sang the tenor or bass part to help support, the group, while another Encore conductor is conducting. And even in some of those moments, I'm like, okay, on that note, I think I'm going to rely on this tenor who's been rehearsing this part for 15 weeks and not me so much. So I'm going to back away on this one measure that I'm not too sure about.
That's right. You lean on your fellow choristers to help you get through those places you might feel a little bit unsure.
Exactly.
That's the joy of choral singing. So we have this beautiful part of Encore called what we call Arts for Life. And that encompasses our Sentimental Journey singers and melody makers. And for those that are listening that might not know anything about those programs, Joey, can you just tell us a little bit about what those two programs mean and what they do for our communities?
Absolutely. Sentimental Journey Singers is more of a performance-based experience for people living with dementia and other cognitive impairments. And it's for them, it's for their care partners who might be a spouse or a sibling or a child, who come along for the ride and are encouraged to sing. And then it's also for volunteers and for people who might just be beginning that journey of memory loss, actually, with a recent new diagnosis. It's a really kind of wonderful, supportive environment. And I've taught community choirs before that have people with dementia as a major component. And quite frankly, I couldn't tell sometimes who were the people with the impairments and who were the people who did not have dementia. It's really kind of a wonderful mix of people. And in music making, it's not necessarily obvious, especially because the music making enlivens our brains and gets people to kind of come to life in a way that you don't see normally. So Sentimental Journey Singers is more of a kind of community choir, similar in format to the other Encore experiences, except that we do give a couple more resources. We give people to help, and that comes down to, like, turning pages and making sure we know where we are physically in the room and in the music, as well as giving people extra resources like lyric sheets, so they don't need to follow the music if that's a problem. But the lyric sheets are written out in a way that follows the meter of the music, so it's real specific. Giving people color-coded notebook tabs so they know exactly where we are. Just giving a couple more tools to keep us all together. And it's really, really about community. And then the Melody Makers is more of kind of a classroom music making experience where we're engaged in conversation. We play some instruments as well. And those tend to happen at like adult day programs or within senior housing in memory care residences specifically. And I would say it's a little bit more broad-based in the arts, in that we add more physicality, we add perhaps some visual art or some literary art as well. The classes are thematic. And there is, a song that we work on from week to week so that we feel like there is some growth happening from week to week. But then there's additional songs each week that are more just for fun and to spark memories.
It's beautiful programs. And, we have a vision at Encore that every older adult will have a place to sing and belong and find purpose through music. And this is part of our Singing for Life philosophy, is our Sentimental Journey Singers programs and our Melody Makers programs. So if you're listening and this is something that you're interested in, please do reach out to us or check out our website to learn more information, because Joey, you see it, week in and week out. It's a life-changing program for those that are experiencing cognitive change and also their care partners.
Yeah, and I just want to say that there's a lot of stigma and fear about the word dementia and Alzheimer's. And that is, that makes sense, that there is a lot of stigma and fear. But these programs really illuminate what people can do, not what they can't do. Mm-hmm. And there's something so beautiful in being in that environment and still saying, okay, this is a dementia-friendly program in a dementia environment, right? But at the same time, we are accomplishing things, and we are experiencing joy, and we are able to communicate through music. And I just think that everyone would benefit from being a volunteer in one of these programs, because we're all going to experience some form of dementia in our lives, whether it's us or our loved ones. And it's just so nice to know that there are still things that people can do, and where, music has proven to actually stop dementia in its tracks, more effective than almost any medicine we have right now. So there's something so powerful about being in that room.
Yeah, focusing on the things that we can do and not the things that we can't do is so empowering and so much a part of the model of Sentimental Journey Singers and Melody Maker, and giving voice, which is what we kind of embody that work after. So Joey, we're running out of time, and I can't believe it. I have so much more that I want to talk to you about, so we'll have to have you back on the podcast. But just tell us, there's these moments in life, there's all these tributaries to our river of life. We could go in so many different directions. What was the kind of moment in your life where you realized, I'm going to devote my life to music?
Oh, I never had another option.
No choice in the matter.
My father is a drummer, and my brothers were drummers, and I was the piano player and the singer. And my aunt is a singer and a piano player. And so I kind of grew up in this musical family. And I will admit to you, I was actually good in other subjects in school. I was in all honors classes growing up, and I had a perfect score on my math SAT.
Oh,
I
that's so
know. When I went to college and auditioned for music and theater programs, the people at the college audition panels would be like, "Wait a minute, why are you auditioning for us with this math score?" And I would just say, because all I've ever wanted to do my whole life is music and theater. It's not even like I wanted to do it. It's just like what I did, you know? There was music chose me and theater chose me. Art making chose me. There was never a question. Yeah, so it's always just been there.
always been a part of you. So leave us with this thought. If someone's listening and they're like, I'd really love to sing. I'd love to be a part of a choir. And at a later stage in life, what advice would you say? What would you tell them to go out and do it?
I mean, you only live once. Like, why the heck not try everything? I this is my rule with dating too, which I'll admit I'm single. I'll put this on the podcast. But in the dating world, I always think, okay, everyone deserves two dates. Like we're gonna try it once, and maybe it didn't work out. We'll try it two times. So if you don't think choirs for you, just try it twice.
Try at least twice.
Yes.
So Joey, we're talking about music, but who knows? The Encore Effect podcast might find your next forever person. Who knows? Joey, it's been so awesome to chat with you. Thank you for being a rock star, conductor, and leader at Encore, and I appreciate your time chatting today.
Thank you so much, Joshua. I really appreciate being asked.
And friends, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on the Encore Effect.